One evening, an old grandfather was sitting with his grandson by the fire. The boy looked troubled, so the grandfather asked, "What is on your mind, child?" The boy replied, "Grandfather, I feel as if two voices are fighting inside me. One tells me to be kind, but the other tells me to be selfish and angry. Why do I feel this way?" The old man nodded and said, "Inside every person, there are two wolves. One wolf is evil, it is anger, jealousy, greed, arrogance, and fear. The other wolf is good, it is kindness, honesty, humility, hope, and love. These two wolves are in constant battle inside you." The boy thought for a moment and asked softly, "Which wolf will win, grandfather?" The old man smiled and answered, "The one you choose to feed." The boy sat silently, realizing that his choices each day would decide which wolf grew stronger within him. This story has a very important lesson to teach us. We all have the capacity for good and evil. We all have the capacity for kindness and cruelty. Which one we choose to focus on determines our character. The same is true with our emotions. Sometimes we feel happy, and sometimes we feel sad. Sometimes we feel like working hard, and sometimes we feel lazy. Sometimes we want to help others, and sometimes we don't. But the choice is ours. We can't let our emotions control us. We must learn to control our emotions and decide which emotion we want to focus on. When we look at people who seem to be naturally good, it's because they have trained their mind to focus on the good things in life. They have trained themselves to be kind, honest, and helpful. Similarly, people who seem naturally bad have trained their minds to focus on the negative. They have trained themselves to be selfish, arrogant, and greedy. But the truth is, we all have these two wolves inside of us, the good and the bad. It's just that some people choose to feed the good wolf, while others choose to feed the bad wolf. So the next time you feel like giving in to your negative emotions, or giving in to the selfish and cruel thoughts that pop up in your head, remember the story of the two wolves? Ask yourself, am I feeding the right wolf? We all have the capacity for great good and great evil. It's up to us to decide which one we will become. And that's all for today. If you liked this video, please like and share. Thank you for watching. Once upon a time, there was a poor fisherman. He lived in a little house by the sea. For a living, he would go out fishing every day, and he used a very old net to catch fish. It was barely enough for him to eat and to sell a few extra to make some money. One day, as he was pulling in his catch, he sighed and said to himself, "My net is too small. If only I had a bigger one, I could catch more fish, and then I would become rich. I could buy a new boat and a new net and a big house and lots of food." So he did. He sold the few fish that he had caught that day, and with the money he made, he bought a bigger net. The next day he went out to sea and cast his new net far out into the water. He dreamed of all the wonderful things he would buy once he sold the fish from this big net. But as he started to pull it in, he realized it was much too heavy for him to carry alone. He struggled and struggled, but before he could get it back into the boat, the net tore apart and all the fish swam away. Not only did he lose the big catch, but now he didn't even have his old small net anymore. As he sat by the shore that evening, hungry and tired, he watched another fisherman. He also had a small net, but he was able to return home with a nice basket of fish, enough to feed his family and maybe even to sell a few. Then the poor fisherman realized that being greedy and wanting more and more wasn't worth it. If he had been happy with his small net and the fish that he caught, he would have had enough to eat and wouldn't have lost everything. That night, he slept in an empty stomach, but also with a clear heart, knowing that being greedy had caused him to lose everything. And from the next day on, he was content with what he had and never wished for more.